Town. I had never been to Cape Town, so I was like, if there's one way I'm going to get there, it's through studying there. Also, like I mentioned, I have 3 brothers and a dad. So they're all very overprotective. So, I mean, if I wanted to date and stuff, like it was going to be a mission and a half. So I was like, let me go the furthest I could possibly go because there's no way my parents are going to surprise me and be like, knock, knock, we're here. If you're going to Cape Town, you plan, okay? You plan months in advance. You book your tickets. You inform the person you're coming to see. So that's what I needed.
Okay, I love that. And then now we get to the University of Cape Town. How's the culture like? Culture shock? How did you feel?
I loved UCT. I mean, I loved Cape Town as a whole and UCT as well. I mean, I've just moved back to Cape Town, so clearly I had a great experience. I think also it's about the people you meet there and the friendships you make. So I think I was really lucky. I had a lot of friends. I think I've always had a lot of friends. I don't stick to one group.
Okay.
One of my friends even said, it's so difficult to be your friend because you'll be like my best friend, but you have multiple other best friends. And it's like, I get that. But also, I can't help it. I have different friends for different things. But UCT was really great. I chose UCT because I also wanted a bit of a city life, but like not a drastic jump.
Okay.
And I was scared that if I went to Joburg, I feel like ngithanda izinto, like I'm a TZ. So I was like, if I go to Joburg, I don't know, I might get lost in the sauce.
Sure.
Obviously, I need to give myself a bit more credit. I don't think I would have gotten lost in the sauce. But I was like, nah, let's do a small step up from Pietermaritzburg to Cape Town. And then after that, we'll go to Joburg. Because you would have seen a bit of the city lights and then go get, City of Gold.
Okay. Were there any academical challenges that you faced in uni? Or like it was always A student through and through?
No. No and no. I always say I am never the smartest in the room.
Okay.
So blessing and a curse. Obviously, I would love to be the smartest, but because I know my positioning, it helps me because then I know how to leverage off of other people. I also work really hard and I work smart. And weirdly enough, I always say whenever I start having kids, I hope my kids are never the best at, things too early.
Sure.
And I know that might seem a bit, but the reason I'm saying this is because when you're the best or you peak too early, when you fall, that fall is so drastic.
It's too hard.
Whereas if you were never the best, you're always just trying. Like I'm always top 10 in high school. Okay, you passed and you finished your degree in time, but yeah, there's something shaky.
Sure.
So that's me. But I always get the job done. I always work hard because I know that I can't take anything for granted. So yeah, my academics, I was not a straight A student. I literally can count the number of distinctions I have.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you guys because... but I definitely had courses that I liked.
Sure.
Tax, management accounting, love it. Financial reporting, which is accounting, not so much. But it's funny because my younger brother is doing accounting right now and his strengths are the same as my strengths. So I've kind of just said it must be a brain thing. I think our brains work in a certain way. Because even with my cousin who's also doing accounting, related, we all prefer certain things. So I was like, nah, I think it's in our brain chemistry. Okay.
Yeah. So how do we end up at a Big Four firm? Like, how does that happen and how did that make you feel?
In accounting, a Big Four firm is not that big of a deal.
Really?
Okay, maybe let me correct myself because, this might come across. But, okay, let me say at UCT. A lot of us we kind of know it's going to be a Big Four firm. It's just a thing.
Is it easy to go through?
Yeah, you can choose. I know I went, of the Big Fours, I looked at 3 of them. There was one that I didn't look at. Of the 3 that I looked at, I had done VAC work with 2.
Okay.
The third one I didn't do VAC work with, but I went in for an interview and they gave me a job on the spot. I was like, it's giving desperate. Why are you guys so quick to take me? A shame. No, I think, with our our auditing articles, it's not that big of a deal.
Sure.
So I didn't like that one. Then with the 2 that I did work with, the other one just felt a bit more uptight in terms of the culture. So I usually tell people when you're looking for a company, don't be comparing how much this one is paying versus this one. because the payments can change. Like salaries are revised every 6 months. So when you sign on, this one might be paying more than this one, but then halfway through the year,
the other one
scales
pays
tip.
more.
Okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to jump across? No, you're going to get penalties. So I always went for where I felt the best vibe. And Deloitte definitely gave me the best vibe. And they upheld that vibe. Like the people I met, audit is not the nicest environment to be in. But the people I worked with at Deloitte were phenomenal. I have so many friends still there, so many relationships that I'm still keeping from there. So I don't regret that. The other side was if I wanted to do banking. So some people do go via the banking route. I did have this opportunity, but I kindly declined. I knew I wasn't trying to be a CA in corporate like that. Okay, I told you I wanted to go into business. So there was no need for me to girl boss into banking.
You wanted to finish up the formalities.
Yeah, let me do audits. At least I'll get a variety of different companies, kind of see what I'm feeling like, maybe mining, maybe construction. And I definitely did get that. I got a wide variety. So it's like, okay, I think if I were to go back to corporate, I'd know where I'd go.
Sure. Okay. So now that you mentioned that auditing, is there anything else that people do besides auditing? Because everyone I come across, they talk about auditing.
So you can go through banking or investment banking. There's also consulting. So like if you go through a consulting firm, I did consider this. So yeah, guys, if there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I take my time when I make a decision and I do my research. I did not choose my firm under pressure. I was not like stressed to go see, oh my word, where am I going to work? No, I knew what I was carrying. I had a lot. My transcript wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either. And I had a lot of extramurals that I was carrying. I had a lot of leadership positions as well. So I knew that when I want a job, I'm going to get one.
Sure.
The real question was, where do I want to work?
Okay.
So I also considered the consulting routes, but with them, some of them couldn't really guarantee that you'd get your CASA at the end of the period.
Okay.
Because they were like, consulting is such a diverse sector. They can't always guarantee that you're going to get exposed to this and this so that you can get those competencies. And at that point, I was like, I don't think I'm ready to give up my CASA journey.
Sure.
I didn't come this far just to leave it here.
Yeah.
So I had to say no thanks. Okay. The pay was great, but...
Yeah, I hear a lot of people always say banks and stuff pay better than normal accounting firms.
100%.
Is that true?
100%.
All right.
It's not like in law where your guys' big four firms or big firms pay a lot. No, for us...
Nah,
you see, for us, some of the payments is like the brand association. I remember some old guy, I don't know who he was, but when he heard I was at a big four firm, he was like, in my days, you had to pay to train with them. And I was like,
move away.
Please. But
no, because when I'm thinking big four, like big fives in the law industry, we're thinking pepper check, like money. But I see with you guys, it's more of a status thing and maybe quality.
It's definitely the quality. Like, with the money, I'm not saying it's not a lot. Like, you'll live. It's just that obviously people think, oh, you're a CA trainee, you're going to drive the latest car, pop bottles. No, you're not going to do that. But you're definitely going to afford a car. You can get an apartment, try furnish it slowly but surely, but you'll get there.
Sure.
But what I do appreciate is because we start off on such a conservative amount, you learn how to live off very little. And then every 6 months, you actually get a promotion and your salary changes. But as these changes come up, some people, their lifestyle will increase, and that's okay. But some of us will be like, okay, let's still keep it at this, okay? By the time you qualify, your money more than doubles. So it's like you are so rich, you don't know what to do with yourself. And then that's when you now take on these roles or these opportunities of your investment property. Maybe you can get your favorite car if that's what you want. But I know a lot of CAs will just keep whatever car they got in articles and just travel.
Live their best lives.
Yeah.
Okay, love that. And then, so as you served, I know that you got seconded to the United States of America as well as Australia. How was that experience? Oh no, before we go into that, how was your work experience transitioning from university into the workplace? Were you ready for it?
No, which is why my whole channel came about. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually a YouTuber myself.
Yep.
My YouTube channel is Noguhle Khumalo CASA. I am close to 100K
I
subscribers.
know.
So any moment now, any moment. I think I'm on 96,000.
It's 97. This morning it was 97,000 with 3,000 away.
I feel like by the time this drops, I might be on
You
100K.
were 100. Actually, we're going to throw a congratulations. I know that you're going to be on 100. Listen.
Please, and if you're watching this, just go and join, okay? Clearly there's something happening there. But back to your question. So transitioning from university to the workplace was horrible for me.
Okay.
I think it was also because it was the COVID year. So I started working in 2020.
Sure.
January I was off because that's when we write our first board course and we're all off. So I started working on the 1st of Feb.
Okay.
11 March, Cyril's like,
Close
cut
down.
it.
Sure.
I had been working for a month and 10 days. In that month and 10 days, the first 2 weeks was just training. Where we were eating sweets and being told this is what
Having
you do.
a good
you
time.
know?
It was induction.
So I'd only actually been properly working with my managers and partners for maybe a week and a half. And then just thrown into the deep end. So that was horrible. I moved to a new city. I didn't have a lot of friends there. I'm doing this new job. And thing is, when you're in varsity, you learn all of these things. When you get to work, it's like, okay, we know how to do the whole audit, but right now we need you to do this part.
Sure.
So it's like, this is
What's
what I'm going
going
to do.
on?
Like, only this.
And don't you feel like very cheated? Like, I studied for like 5 years only to come and specialize on a particular discipline.
Yeah, and it's like, how? Only this? Really?
Yeah.
But then you realize that actually there's a lot more
Sure.
than what you covered in school. So yeah, that was a bit difficult. So not having people physically, no friends, no managers helping me physically. Obviously they were there online, but online you can
not the
sit, you
same.
can sit there and suffer in silence. Whereas when you're in person, I could see when my juniors were struggling. Like I could see when someone was scrunching their face or taking too many pee breaks. I'd be like, let's chat. What's going on? Whereas with me, I didn't really have this opportunity until later on in the year when lockdown regulations were lifted. But I made it out. I'm still here. So I don't want to complain too much. I also think it was a blessing in disguise because I saw the worst of the worst. I was like, okay, as soon as I get out of this rut, I'm going to tell people how to get out of it.
Sure.
So that was my goal. And when I started off on YouTube, it was a lifestyle thing. It was just me and my friends, me and my boyfriend. But then I was like, oh, okay, I just bought a car. Let me make a video and tell people what I went through so that they don't have to go through it like firsthand. Like they already are prepared.
Sure.
So when I did my taxes again, I was like, okay, let me do this. And then my dad's like, I hope you're investing. I was like,
What?
I was like, and I was like, if I don't know as an accounting person, what about my friends who are in health and all of these things? So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn about it and then I'm going to teach people.
Sure.
So, yeah. And then my YouTube channel came about.
Okay. Love that. So it's a good thing that you went through what you went through so we get to learn as well.
Yeah. Blessing in disguise.
You are the Moses of this generation.
Please, it's enough now. I'm tired of taking the lead. I'm ready to follow, guys. Please.
Okay, so now you get to the workplace, you get this culture shock and all of that, but obviously you end up getting familiar. And then now you have to, was it a must that you get seconded or was it a choice?
So it was a choice.
Okay.
So a lot of the audit firms actually will advertise this when they are trying to sign us. They'll let you know that, at the end of your articles, there's an opportunity to go and work abroad. If you're interested, and almost everyone gets it. So I'm just saying this because I know a lot of people are like, wow, you worked abroad. Wow. And I'm always so awkward because it's like, it's not that big of a deal,
I feel like
guys.
you don't celebrate yourself.
No, I do. But it's like, guys, in a firm where there's 300 people, 280 of them are going to go.
Okay, I hear you.
So the only reason you're not going to go on the secondment is if, one, you don't want to go. So maybe you've already got a permanent job secured, or your family's been abroad, so you have no interest. You're not trying to get this free vacation. Or if you were performing like really, really bad. And by really bad, it's like really bad. And the reason that this happens is because the company doesn't want to send people to other countries where you weren't working or you weren't performing well in South Africa, and now you're going to take that into another country and you're going to ruin our reputation.
Sure.
Because as much as you get seconded to another Deloitte South Africa and Deloitte USA are completely different companies. Ne? So if they bring in a South African who is just not pulling their weight, next year they'll be like, nah, thanks, South Africa, we're tapping out. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
And that happens. It does happen where certain locations were open and then they're no longer open because the previous years just took it too hard. Like they just had too much fun and didn't work too much. But I enjoyed working. So I was actually in Philadelphia in the US. But then I unfortunately got moved to New York. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, wow,
After how
New
long?
York. It was like, I signed with Philadelphia, but I was put on a New York client. So I was basically working for New York and I'm going up and down to New York. But I hated this because I wanted to go on a bit of a relaxed secondment.
So it was tougher. Was it tougher than South Africa?
No.
Okay.
New York is a city that never sleeps. But what I do want to tell people is South Africa has the best work ethic and we're also the smartest professionals. Like when we get there, people assume we're senior manager level and they almost always give you a permanent position. Okay, let me not say almost always. Let me say I was offered that permanent position. I just didn't really want to take it. And that happened again in Melbourne. I remember my manager in Melbourne was like, I don't even need to do anything on this file as long as you've gone through it. And I was like,
what?
No.
When we're in South Africa, there's a lot of checking.
Yeah, so South Africa has a really great work ethic. And the one thing that kept ringing in my mind was, we just need to get electricity. Like, we just need electricity. Everything else is A1. Like, we are doing really, really well. And I don't know why certain things are, like, supering us. Like, you know, unemployment. I don't get why we're not getting that. It bothers me. But that's why I'm back. I'm back because I realized I want to fix the situation here because we have a lot going on for us. The first world countries are just really good at marketing themselves.
Sure.
And the thing is, they are the ones who tell us that they're really great. Whereas we're waiting for them to moderate us. But it's like, you guys don't even realize the ghosts that you are. Like, some are ghosty. But obviously, they're not going to tell us that. So, yeah, it was nice. Another thing that I realized was that I obviously don't want to live abroad forever. So if I worked abroad, when I wanted to come back, or when I want to come back to South Africa, I knew I was going to have an issue transitioning.
Sure.
The quality of work in South Africa is so high that if I came back from abroad, I was going to feel like, they are killing me. You know?
Sure.
Whereas in America, it's like, you know, you can get things done pretty quickly. So that's why I was like, no, thank you.
How long were you there?
3 months 3.5 months in America, and then 3 months in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay, so you are away for 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you missed home, ne?
The 3 months were quick, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was spending money. The perk of working abroad is that there's a lot of money.
Okay. Whose money were you spending? The company money or your money? Or was your salary topped up?
The company pays me. Yes, of course. They can't send you across the world with your Joburg salary. No.
Okay.
No.
So they match the country they're sending you to.
I don't want to say they try to, but I know that we're obviously not going to be earning the same as what people who live there earn. The reason for this also is because they obviously fly us there. They cover our travel. They also cover our accommodation. So we were staying in hotels for the full 3 months.
Okay.
So obviously that has to come out of somewhere. But the actual amounts that you were paid were still pretty decent. Like, I traveled a lot. I'm not even into traveling, but I was like, I've got the money. Let me see if I like it. Let me try. So I did Chicago, Washington, D.C., Hollywood, New York, obviously, and Philadelphia. And then when I was in Australia, I also did Sydney. And I realized I actually don't care for traveling. But Also got my luxury bags and my luxury glasses.
Ooh,
Also got gifts for people in my family because, you know, it was a big deal. I was going abroad. So there's definitely a lot of money to go around. I know some of my colleagues, like especially the males, when they came back, a lot of them got married. Like they had enough money
they
to
were
lobola.
balling.
Just lobola one time, get yourself a wife.
Sure.
And keep it moving. So working abroad has its perks. You come back with a lot of money. But yeah, when you're that side, the money isn't that much. So if you are trying to go work abroad, for you to see if something is a great salary, just divide it by 3 and see if you'd survive off of that in South Africa.
Okay.
Because everything else is like 3 times more expensive.
All right. Okay. So now we come back. What are the 3 things that you learned about being abroad?
3 things I learned while being abroad. 1, South Africa is a really fantastic country. 2, even though I don't like auditing, I'm really great at it.
Okay. Love that.
And 3, I don't like living with people.
Wow.
No, the reason I'm saying that is because once a secondment I shared with someone, then the other I was living alone. And I realized I enjoyed my secondment more when I was living alone. But I think that's just generally everyone.
I'm sure it's a
I mean, we're older now, so you know, sharing space is also a bit awkward. But I mean, you do have an option to say, sorry, I can't share, like especially if you're married and stuff. Because I think I thought I was quite a
people person.
Yeah. No, I need my downtime.
Okay.
My social battery can drain very quickly, and I can't be all chirpy even when we're in the house. Also, like cleaning preferences and guest preferences. That's
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
How would you define a healthy work environment?
A healthy work environment is one where you have life outside of work.
Okay.
So where your work complements your life, not that you work, and then everything else kind of has to figure itself out. No. You still have time for family, you have time for kids. You know, that's healthy for me.
All right.
And the pay is also decent. Like you can live a decent life.
Okay. So when a person is considering a career option, what do you think are 3 factors they need to take into account?
Number 1, employability.
Okay.
When I chose my thing, that was the first thing I considered. Don't just study your passion. We all have different passions.
Yeah, it doesn't pay bills.
Yeah, my passion was creative stuff. I liked drawing and painting. That wasn't going to pay bills. So employability. 2, does it complement your personality? The reason I'm saying this is because I'm a people's person, bubbly, and I love making friends. I've been saying this. But when you're an auditor, your clients will literally ask you, when are you guys leaving? Nihamba ni.
Sure.
Okay. And I had a lot of my clients approach me and say, we like you as a person, but we hate the job you do. And I was like, or some of my clients would like want to be friends. It's like, no, I need to remain independent.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Goodbye. Close the door. So yeah, my personality did not work well with my audit. And then 3, choose a career you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life. Obviously, maybe not for like your initial job. It might not work out. But I think for me, one of my biggest motivations to leaving, and I know you're probably getting to that, was just that I did not see myself doing that when I was 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that. So you decide she's no longer a 9-to-5 girly. You decide to cut that route short. Like, I mean, you're still young. And you decide, okay, I don't know if this is a sabbatical or it's done or it's I'll see you soon, right? But you decide you're not going to continue. What brought you to that day? Like, maybe if you can illustrate the day and be like, what were you wearing when you submitted your resignation? Like, was it something spontaneous or it was a thing of, I'm doing this?
No, so luckily it was less dramatic. And also it wasn't a one-time thing. It had been coming. It was a long time coming. So I think my time abroad was great because I was like, okay, maybe I don't like auditing in South Africa. Let me see auditing in America. I went there. I realized, shaky. The pay is better, but I'm still not convinced.
Sure.
Then I went to audit in Melbourne. In Melbourne, the pay wasn't that great, but the work-life balance was amazing. I was like, you see, when it's the weekend, no one will contact you.
Sure.
I was like, this is definitely what me and my kids would love, and my husband, obviously husband-to-be. But I still was not having it. So I was like, you know what? Clearly, I don't know what I want. I had the best of everything in Australia, but I was still like, something's missing. So I was like, okay, I think we know what we need to do. And the reason I'm saying it wasn't a dramatic one-time thing is because I had been low-key saving up for it. I had been saving up to say, okay, I need to have my emergency fund ready. I need to be able to go 6 to 12 months with no money coming in and still paying off all my debts. And by my debts, I just had my car.
Okay.
And have some groceries, a place to live and all of that. But I was like, I should be able to do 12 months. So obviously I saved, and also my parents did chip in because I had graduated and gotten my CA and all that. And they were like, oh, we never bought you a car. No. So, let us know what we can help you with. I was like, the money. Give me the money.
Yeah.
So that helped. So it was a long time coming, but I blew that money in US. So don't even count it. But anyways, when I did eventually leave, I didn't have to resign or anything because I was coming back from Australia. It was a secondment. It was 3 months. When it's done, it's done. If you want to come back to South Africa, it's another conversation. Not necessarily a long interview, but it's a thing of, okay, I'm ready to come back. So in my case, I just never had that conversation.
Okay.
But they know that there's no love lost. It might be a see you later. I think I needed to just leave just to see if I can do this.
Sure.
So that I don't come in, half out, like, I could be doing this, but I'm here. If I'm coming back, I must be coming back for good.
Okay. How did that first day of not thinking about work or meeting deadlines or whatever feel like?
When I came back from Australia and announced to my parents that I was officially not employed and not looking for a job, my mom was like, oh, great. We're going to the farms. You're joining us. And we went to my mom's homelands in Makaya. So that was nice. I got to see everyone and we took it back to the roots. Like, there's no running water. So it was like baguette. So I enjoyed that. I was like, I feel like I'm on a trip. It's like, we pay for these experiences when we're in school with this excursion. But now it's like family. But my family, my parents were actually quite supportive. My brothers also, my partner, everyone's kind of supportive of it, which is really great because I feed off of them quite a lot, like energy-wise. So everyone kind of knew it was coming. I think my dad was just like, I told you just get the CA thing. Yeah, okay. And at that point, I think I'd also decided that enough with the people pleasing.
Sure.
I was a people pleaser. Obviously not too up in your face, like you wouldn't see it, but I hated disappointing people.
Sure.
But this time I realized that, this is about me now. And where I want to go, it requires me to do this.
Sure.
So I was quite relaxed.
You're just cruising.
I was cruising nicely.
Okay. Love that. Do you think our financial status does influence the career we go for?
Yes. 100% yes.
Okay. So if you were richer, you were definitely not going through that whole CTA drama and all of that.
Yes and no. Yes and no, because I always say I wouldn't stop my own kids from becoming CAs if they want to. Just because I left doesn't mean, no, actually I didn't leave being a CA. I am a CA.
Yeah.
But some people are like, if I was rich, I wouldn't have gone through all that. Nah, if your kids want to do it, it's fine. Let them do it. Don't stop people. But I definitely do think that there are certain careers where we view them highly, like doctor. Everybody wants a doctor.
Sure.
I wanted to be a doctor at some stage, but I'm terrified of blood. So I just wanted the title, the status, Dr. Kumalo. You know?
It would bang.
Exactly, Dr. K, hey, at your service. But that was not going to work.
Yeah.
So I do think because of our history as a country and where we come from as Black people, before our parents could only choose between a nurse, a teacher, or a police officer.
Sure.
And even then it was like certain things. So now that we do have access, our parents are like, no, go do something else. Try something better.
Sure.
And you can see even in our parents, because if everyone could just study what they're passionate about and good at, I think it would be a better fit for like employment. Like if you're really great at cooking, become a chef or a caterer. But we all know that people will be like, no, but like,
Go and be a lawyer. Yes.
And then, no, you'll cook on the side. I wanted to be a teacher, but I was like, nah, go and do this because it was a teacher. So, yeah.
All right.
Long story short, I agree.
Okay. So now you decide to... Okay, we're going to call it a book, ne? You decide to launch or author your first book, Get Ready With Me, Adulting Edition. How did you decide that, you know what, let's do this, let's get it together? And weren't you afraid whether or not it's going to sell?
Hey, let me tell you, so many things happened by mistake in my life, but good mistakes. Same as my YouTube channel being a mistake. The book as well. The book was in my first month of unemployment or self-employment.
All right.
So after the week when I was at my mom's Boondoos, I came back, spent like 3-4 days at my home, like in Pietermaritzburg. Then I flew to Cape Town because I was moving to Cape Town. Obviously, when I got to Cape Town, it's like, okay, I've got this nice apartment. I'm back in Cape Town, the city I love. But now what?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was waking up late and I was romanticizing my life. It was good, but I was like, I'm bored.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, let me just do this. So I just started writing. I had a lot of videos that I'd done, but I know not everyone likes consuming digital like footage or video footage because it's like, bro, if you miss something, you have to watch the whole video again.
Yeah.
As much as I'm a YouTuber, I was not into YouTube. I did not watch YouTube. I only started watching YouTube like last year. Started off as a researching thing, but now I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I was like, there has to be other people who do not like watching YouTube. So let me see if I can speak to them. So I kind of condensed the videos I'd made, put them into formats. And it was easy because I already had my planning of the videos in my notes app. So it was just structuring it well, full sentences, obviously putting it in the margins and all that, getting a nice book model going. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to get this bound and, sell it or whatever. And then when I approached the guys who were printing for me, they were like, all right, let's do this. So it went from just being papers bound to, okay, let's use this type of paper and have a plastic cover. And I was like, whatever we do, don't put a spine. Maybe now we'll put a spine, but I was like, I want it to be something you can open and flip around because you're meant to write in it. So I know it doesn't feel like a book because it doesn't have a spine. That's why I call it a guide book. But it's because it's meant to be personal to you. You're meant to write in it. And when you're done, you must come back and look and see if you've achieved the things you said you were going to achieve. So that was the whole purpose. I thought I was going to sell like 20, maybe 30. I remember when I had to place my first batch, I was like, let me do 30. Let me be conservative. And then someone was like, nah, do 50. Have faith. I was like, yeah, okay. Hey, this faith is expensive, but okay, we'll do 50. I literally had over 100 orders in the first week. I was like,
what's going on?
What do people want to read?
Yeah.
But I love the book and I'm really excited because I'm working on a high school edition now. Because obviously that one was bridging between university to workplace, like what you need to know. But I'm working on a high school one because a lot of people are not sure what to study. They don't know what their interests are. People think they have to go to varsity, but there's so many other alternatives. So I'm just trying to explore all of that.
Yeah, I really love the high school edition one. Like, I can't wait for it to come out because I feel like if you miss it there by transitioning from high school to uni, a lot of lives are lost because a lot of people end up dropping out and a lot of things happen there. So it would really be nice to have like a guideline from grade 8, knowing, okay, after this, what happens and all of that. Okay, you've been such a breath of fresh air.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really enjoyed this conversation, and I know by the time we air this episode, you are going to be on 100K subscribers. I'm so proud of you. And
thank you.
One thing I would like to commend you for is that you have been authentic. I told you that I was binging on your videos from wanting 7 kids. I'm like, this girl, what's going on here? But you've been such an authentic babe. Like it's beautiful watching you grow as yourself. You know, it's one thing when people transition because of what society says and all of that, but you've just effortlessly transitioned as self, and I loved it. I love it. May you continue to grow. And in closing, I would like you to share this season of your life. What would you title it? If you had to title the season of your life, what would you title it? And any words of encouragement that you may have for the person at home.
Well, firstly, thank you for that nice wrap up. I feel like I'm listening to a radio show. It's like, wow. Okay, but now you've put me on the spot. The season that I'm in, let's go. Okay. I think I use that a lot in my YouTube videos. I use it in my reels. I use it in my captions. Whatever you're thinking of doing, let's go. Let's go. There's no time to think about. Just do it.
Okay.
We'll figure it out later. If you burn bridges, we'll apologize later. Just go. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. Love that.
That's my motto. Let's go. And then my words of encouragement.
Yes. To a person transitioning, looking for a job, looking to start something.
Okay, you see, now I'm coming from an Alan Gray event, so this is going to be very Alan Gray coded. But my words of encouragement will be, don't wait for someone to give you the opportunity. Sometimes you have to create it yourself.
Sure.
And also just tap into some of your strengths, okay? Some people are really good at doing certain things, but they're so stuck on, I've got a degree. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do people's nails when I have a whole degree. I'm not going to do hair when I have a whole degree. Mm-hmm. Okay, babes, money in is better than no money at all. So just make the best of the current situation that you have. Things do pan out. And if you are confused and you feel like you're a bit demotivated about where you are in life, it's okay. And I think a lot of us are pretending. A lot of us are pretending to know what we're doing. But it always works out. Like when I look at some of the things I've done, I know I didn't know what I was doing. But when I look backwards, it's like, ish. You know, it worked out. So have faith in yourself. And also, guys, your brain is super powerful. I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. I know people manifest and people pray and all of that. But also just remember your brain is super powerful. So whether you tell yourself you're great or not, your brain believes it. So make sure you're not joking about yourself and saying, oh my God, I'm so stupid when you make a mistake. Don't do that. Your brain doesn't know you're joking. Don't speak negatively about yourself. When people say negative things, just keep quiet. There's no need for you to add on. You know who you are. Your brain believes you over someone else. So keep that in mind all the time. And all the best, Mganam. You've got this.
Love that. To everybody at home, I hope you learned as much as I learned from this episode. I'm going to try to do something that you always do. If you liked this video, please tip me with a like. One thing, I butchered it. But if you like this video, please tip me with a like and a share and a comment. And always remember that you are never alone. You're always gracefully anchored. Happy Employment Wednesdays. See you in the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.